out tonight, and I thank you so much for doing that. To our club members bringing their children with them, to the members and reps from out-of-town clubs, to our younger members, you know, Lincoln and Laurie from Lavala. Thank you so much to all our sporting groups that have come. You know, this is not just about tennis, but about so many different organisations and communities, our youth group there. It's just wonderful to see you all, so I really appreciate you coming. When I went to the Pride Forum in June for the footy, I spoke to David the other day about this, and after David spoke, it was so inspiring, and to hear all the local champions speak, to hear Jane speak, Hannah, and it just made me think about what we can do as a sporting club to get that message out that everybody is welcome here, not only here at Traralgon, but at so many of our local smaller clubs, where I sometimes feel that people might be frightened to go to, that they won't be accepted. I think that we take it for granted, and our children take it for granted, that if they do want to play sport, they just go. They go to a footy club, they go to a cricket club, they go to a tennis club, they join a team and they play. And mum and dad come down and they might, you know, volunteer, or they play too, they have friends, they make friends, they go to social events and stuff. But it's not that easy for everybody. And what's sad is that there are a lot of people that really want to be involved at any capacity, whether they're playing, whether they're watching, whether they're bringing their kids down to play, or whether they want to volunteer at events or whatever, but they're too frightened to, because they're worried that they won't be accepted, or that people won't want to play in their team, or you know, that they won't make friends. And that's what's really sad, and that's what we really have to try, as you know, in our area, to try and get that message out, that, you know, that's just not right, and that everybody's welcome, and everybody deserves a chance to have a go. I did read a quote recently that said, you know, I can't remember it. I told my son it before I went. I'll remember it in a minute, and then I'll say it again. Stop labelling and start living. And I think that is so appropriate for what we're trying to send a message out by doing this. So I would also like to thank all the sponsors and people that have made this possible. AGL Loyang, Janelle, you've been amazing. I know you're sick of all my phone calls and emails, so I'm so sorry. Celine at LRH, you are just amazing too, and thank you for all your support. Tanya Mason from Tennis Vic, thank you. To Daryl, the president at the club here, they're so wonderful and have just let me go ahead with this. So thank you to everyone that's helped get this off the ground. And I'd now like to introduce Dean Sutton, one of our lovely local champions, looking very handsome there. So I'll hand it over to you.
L stands for lesbian, G is for gay, B is for bisexual, T is for trans or transgender, I is for intersex, Q is for queer or questioning. So there's probably some guys out there that just thought, oh my God, I didn't realise I was under the rainbow spectrum, I'm intersex. Well, it's not intersex, it's intersex.
So how did I get here? The short answer is, Susie asked me. The long answer is a little bit more than that. But the North Gippy Footy League has perhaps been known for tackling complex issues and doing things a little differently. And we wanted to take a leadership role in this space. A discussion started with AGL Loyang, who are also the North Gippsland Football League's major sponsor. And part of their core values is also about being an inclusive and a diverse employer. So it was quite a good marriage for us, and I see Traralgon Tennis also have a strong relationship with AGL Loyang, and I can't see where Janelle is, but we also ask a lot of questions of Janelle too, Susie, so you're not alone. A couple of North Gippsland Football League clubs put up their hand and said,
yeah, has to be here today. Susie, you don't have to be doing what you're doing.
I'm not a sporting person. I don't come from a sporting background. The first time I stepped inside a sporting club was the first Pride Cup 2 years ago, so I'm a little bit of a fraud. But I do have my own story. So as Dean said, I'm from Latrobe Regional Hospital. I'm one of the mental health clinicians out there, and I'm also the lead on our Rainbow Equality work group, because we're working towards getting Rainbow Tick accreditation to make sure that we're a much more inclusive organisation. So if I'm not a sports person, you probably wonder why else I'm here. I'm a mum. I've got 2 kids, and ever since my first child came along, one of the things that's been kind of first and foremost in my mind is protecting my babies and how they'll be growing up. And you know, I'm aware that they're growing up in a very different time to what I did. And you know, since having them, I guess one of the things I've noticed a lot is around casual type homophobia. When I was younger, if someone was homophobic or called me a dyke or whatever, I didn't really care, water off a duck's back. But now that I've got 2 little people in the world to keep safe and to feel safe, I'm really quite conscious of that. And you know, they're at an age where they're interested in sports and sporting clubs, and little people want to do everything in different sports every few months, and that's something that I'm quite passionate about now. How will my little people be perceived in the world with their 2 mums? Because even sometimes going, you know, to the supermarket can be interesting. That how nice that these 2 kids are always out with their mum and their auntie.
I feel privileged to be a part of the first Pride in tennis event, and I believe these events are important as it gives everyone a fantastic platform to talk about inclusion in sport.
And I don't normally get nervous, and I think I was getting nervous because I talk a lot in front of gay and lesbian groups, the tennis groups. I do talk a lot, and I'm actually quite okay with it. But I got nervous today because I've never actually told my story. No one's ever heard my story because when I'm at a gay and lesbian club, we all have the same story. So I get nervous about telling my story. So I'm going to tell you my story for the first time, and it's a bit scary because we hide these things away. We're taught to hide these away and not worry about them.
And their culture is not accepting. Now that was my mistake. I did exactly what I didn't want them to do to me. I was worried about them judging me, and I was already judging them. They were the most accepting group of people that I came